عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Dear viewer of Salam TV, it's always an honor to have you watching us. Today is the 21st of October 2024, corresponding to the 18th of Rabi'ul Akhir, Rabi'ul Thani, 1446. My name is Muhammad Sakalala, your host for the show that comes to you every Monday, the Alhidaayah show. We want to welcome you all from the weekend. We hope those that had successes that registered, may Allah bless them for you, and those that are having challenges, we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala suffices for us. In the Monday episode, we look at Islam and science, and basically trying to appreciate issues or matters that Allah has made for us in the universe and on earth, such that we better appreciate and understand Him. So late we've been looking at natural wonders of the ocean life. Today we want to come up with one of the most interesting fish species, and that is the whale. The whale fish, it is mentioned in a number of verses of the Holy Quran, especially in regards to the story of Prophet Yunus alayhi salam. So we want to appreciate that when Allah said the Prophet was swallowed by the fish, would it come to imagination that a fish can swallow someone? But today we hope with the wonders we are going to see about this fish, perhaps we shall conclude that indeed somebody can be in the belly or the stomach of the fish. Now, to help us understand and go into the world of whales, we are joined by our usual guest, Mr. Sekalema Hamza, who is the lecturer at the Islamic University in Uganda. Brother Sekalema, you're most welcome. Kindly say salam to the viewers.
Our dear viewers, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us an opportunity to sit here and share knowledge that we may grow our iman, because the ayah is very clear that inna ma yakhsha Allah min ibadihi al-ulama. So al-ulama does not only restrict to the hadith and the Quran, but to understand the entire environment that Allah has given us is all part of knowledge. And once you acquire it, you'll find yourself getting closer to Allah, and it's the entire objective of our show. We pray that Allah will give us greater iman and a better understanding of His signs in this world.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. So viewer, that is Mr. Hamza Sekalema for you. Remember, if you have missed out on the past episodes, you shouldn't worry much. We have it as the recordings on the Salam YouTube page. Kindly visit Salam YouTube and then type in Alhidaayah. You'll be getting all the different episodes of the show that we've been running. Mr. Hamza,
no.
So today we are looking at whales, and I hinted in the beginning that this is one of the fish that is mentioned in the Holy Quran. So kindly share with us some of the introductory aspects of this creature called the whale. Yes.
Now, the whale is a very large creature.
Now,
in fact, you'll wonder that Allah can create such a massive creature and it's just one.
Allah.
We have seen the sharks and etc. Yes, they have their size, but the whale is simply very big.
Allah.
We shall see how big it is.
Yes, please.
So it is something quite interesting, and it is of course an ocean fish. You'll not find a whale in Lake Victoria.
Lake Victoria, yes.
So it is not something you'll find there. It is primarily an ocean fish, and we shall see the many things that Allah has given it which really make it an incredible animal.
MashaAllah. Thank you very much. Wow. So it is large. It is an ocean. Its habitat is the ocean, and it's one of the, actually it's the largest. We shouldn't even say one of the largest, but though we shall say it also has species or different types that are, some are bigger than the others. Okay, so interesting facts about the world.
Now what happens is
Yes,
that like all the other animals, I hope our selector can give us that picture where we have the various varieties. You'll find that this whale also, like the others, has many species.
Yes.
So that is one thing that we should note. It is not only one type. There are quite a number of types, with the blue whale being the biggest. But there are many varieties. And interestingly, Allah creates the same creature and He varies it totally, in that when you see one, it doesn't have any resemblance with the other apart from that's just the general shape. And it is one of the signs that Allah has put in this world. He creates the same creature, and how like you can see those different kinds of whales. Apart from the broad shape that you can see, you will see that the bodies are very different from one another. So you have the blue whale, which is very big. You have what we call the narwhal, the humpback whale, the grey whale. All those are different kinds of whales. Of course, some are small, but the majority are really very large creatures, as you can see in the schematic there. So we've seen it has very many types, like you have seen them there. That is one very interesting thing. The other fact which is amazing about this creature is the size.
Yes.
The largest is called the blue whale.
Akbar.
And statistically, the blue whale is the biggest animal that has ever been on this earth. Meaning even the dinosaurs were nothing compared to the blue whale. How heavy? A clean 200 tons.
200 tons.
We were comparing a well-loaded Sinotrack with the sand.
Yes.
What's the weight of that lorry? Well-loaded with the sand.
I haven't.
Can it even clock 50 tons?
I know I see these small, they are called these small pickups. The maximum is, I think, is 1 ton they can carry, right?
So if we could stretch the whale, if we could stretch the Sinotrack, because we want this person listening to try and relate with what they can actually perceive. So this thing is 200 tons. And the ton, like we said, is a clean 1,000 kilograms. So 200 tons means 200,000 kilograms. It is as if you are talking of a whole corral of cows, and they are all forming just one animal. And that animal is in the ocean. Actually, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created these enormously large animals mainly to stay in that water, because the water has that capacity to reduce the weight. So although this creature is extremely large, but because it is within the denser material, which is water, it does not feel the weight of itself. Otherwise, just like we human beings, when a person becomes very fat, they begin to get inconvenienced by the fact that the weight is against them. Otherwise, this one, 180, some of them 200 clean tons. How you can see the way they are compared to
elephants.
And an elephant is an extremely large animal, but to get it, you get 30 elephants, put them on one side. That's how you will get the weight of just one whale. That is how large those creatures are.
Subhanallah.
So that is one very interesting fact. So all these are comparisons in order for one to build a proper imagination of the weight of this extremely large animal. And you can see the thing is like some kind of sheep. You can think it is a sheep. I think this may be the heart. Just look at the heart.
Is like bigger than even a car.
The heart is bigger than a car.
Subhanallah.
So we saw those sardines that thing can come and swallow a very large number. So that is
3.5 tons of food.
So just look at that, a clean 3.5 tons of food in one day. So how much does a human being eat in a day? Can the human being even make 2 kilos?
I don't even think so. It's not possible.
2 kilos would be overeating. So that is how interesting that whale is.
So we've talked about the species. There are so many.
There are many.
Weight. How about in terms of height? Is the length.
The length
from the mouth to the tail.
30 meters.
30 meters. 98 feet.
30 meters is some interesting distance. So you can see everything about the whale is simply enormous.
Wow.
The other thing that they do is diving. You see that water?
Yes.
We who are on the surface, we don't feel how much pressure that water has.
Yes.
But as you go deeper, the pressure increases. So that's why a human being cannot be able to push even below, I think, 100 meters.
Oh, wow.
But this whale can go deep. The whale can go as deep as 1 kilometer into the ocean, which is 1,000 meters.
1,000 meters, yes.
So it can go up to 1,000 meters.
Deep.
And the ones that know physics, you can calculate the kind of pressure that whale will be facing at that depth. Because depending on the depth, the pressure increases. So you can do some calculation there. We don't want to go into some tough physics. But up to 1 kilometer, it can go down into the water, up to 1 kilometer. Also remember that this whale, although it lives in the sea,
yes,
it is not actually a fish.
Wow.
It is a mammal like us.
It's not a fish.
So it is a mammal, and it produces live calves like the way we human beings produced. Just a small version.
Not a fish species.
It is not a fish. It is primarily a mammal. It produces live young ones, and it also feeds them by milk. So it is just a mammal. So it means it does not have the adaptation of fish in terms of breathing.
Does it have gills?
But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He creates a creature, He gives it the capacity to live within the environment where it is, using its body the way it is designed. So what has Allah given this creature? For it to be able to live as a mammal but living extensively in water, it has capacity to hold the breath. Because for mammals, once you have water in your lungs, you are as good as gone. You are not like a fish. The fish, water simply goes into the gills, and that is what it even wants. But this creature is able to hold the breath for 90 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Usually, how far can a human being go? Can we even clock?
I don't think even 5 minutes would be.
Yeah, you can't. Even a minute would be tough. Of course, the Navy divers tend to have a capacity to hold, but it is mainly, you can hardly go beyond 5 minutes. But this one, after coming out of the water and breathing in, it is able to go down there, stay for a clean 90 minutes.
Oh, wow. 90 minutes.
90 solid minutes down there, holding its breath, and that's how it is able to dive up to that 1 kilometer. Because to go 1 kilometer into the bottom of the sea, that's a mega distance. So remember, as you go 1 kilometer, it means you have to turn back by the same kilometer. So you are moving like 2 solid kilometers for a round trip.
Yes.
So that is how far it can go, up to 1,000 meters. And the pressure there is quite big. We could look up the pressure. Water pressure at that depth, 1,000 meters. What is the water pressure? If you are at 1,000 meters, you are going to have a pressure around you, which is 10 kilopascals. Now, 10 kilopascals is 1,450 pounds per square inch.
Oh, wow.
These ones are not in metric, but we could convert to metric. Pounds are half kilos.
Yes.
So meaning you're talking of around 725 kilograms per square inch. A square inch, the inch is this one. So meaning if you have a small area, the size of something like this,
yes,
this is what you call a square inch. But within that small area, the pressure of the water will be 750 25 kilograms. You can see how much pressure that is.
Pressure,
so if you put a human being in that kind of pressure, the entire body is disintegrated. Our bodies are not designed to handle that kind of pressure, but the whale will be able to handle. Remember, it is an enormous creature. It has very big size, but it is still able to handle this mega kind of pressure. So these are all very amazing things. That for whenever Allah creates a creature, He also gives it the adaptation to be able to live within the surrounding. The other interesting thing that this creature has is the issue of migration. In order for these whales to live their lives, they migrate. And they travel distance of around 5,000 miles. 5,000 miles in terms of kilometers is 8,000 kilometers. 1,000 kilometers is from here to...
The farthest, let me see, from here to Nakasongola, then to Arua. Arua is
800.
800 should be, yes. So maybe you're talking about the border of Guru. I mean, Southern Sudan, perhaps.
So 8,000 kilometers is a mega distance.
That is 10 times traveling from here to
go to
Southern Sudan, come back 10 times. Allah.
That is how far this fish travels within the water.
Allah.
And it is all for purposes of migration. They migrate for purposes of producing young ones and etc. There are many factors that you can see. They move very large distances. You imagine, plus that huge size, we are talking of 200 tons.
200 tons.
Granted, the water seems to lessen a bit on the weight, but still the effort needed to move the 200 tons through ocean water for 5,000 kilometers.
Wow. So by the way, when the baby whales are delivered, do they also have the same weight, or they also keep on increasing?
Of course, the young ones are small. But they also grow into very big ones very fast.
Then in terms of gestation and lifespan, have we done that?
Lifespan.
An average whale lives how long?
The whale can live for 100 years plus. So its lifespan is nearly the same as the human beings. Although we are not very many who get 100. So the whale will live up to 100 clean years in order for it to be able to complete its cycle.
Is the gestation period also 9 months, like for human
beings?
Like
the human beings, that one we need to look it up. But it should be far bigger, because remember that a human baby is just a small one. But it takes a clean 9 months.
Because the elephant is 2 years, right? 24 months.
Maybe we should look it up here. Gestation period.
So meaning if the whole is bigger than the elephant,
by 30 times.
By 30 times, then it means you should...
Interestingly, they are saying it can range between 10 to 18 months.
That is the gestation, 10 to 18 months. Okay. Somewhat...
so it does not get to the 2 years of the elephant. Possibly they have a greater capacity to accumulate growth for the baby. So 10 to 18 months, that is what you'll find as the duration that the whale needs to keep its young one inside itself. So that is something. Then they have...
as we are going for the break.
As we are going for the other break, okay, in terms of sound, that 200-ton creature makes enough noise that is comparable to the jet engine of an aircraft. Usually to get that sound, you need to be near an airport to get how noisy that jet engine really is. But this whale here can make enough of that noise. A human being, we don't have that capacity, but this thing can make enough noise. Because for them, when they are communicating, they mainly do that sound, and they communicate over very long distances across the ocean. So each individual really needs to make a lot of noise. So compare the sound of the whale to the jet engine.
Yes.
The jet engine, if we are to compare to with the cars, because for us Ugandans, we may not know a lot about the aircrafts. We don't go to the airport a lot. But in the case you are to compare with the cars,
also, this is the one that make the roughest noise.
I think all those are making a little noise. Possibly we could multiply maybe the sound of the horn.
The horn, yes.
The horn multiply maybe times 10 could get you somewhere near.
How about this race car driver? I mean, these race cars. Yes.
Okay, those ones could do.
Subarus.
Could come a bit to the kind of noise that the aircraft makes. So this creature, Allah has given it capacity to produce that kind of sound.
Okay, inshallah, I think we shall need to stop for a break. Dear viewer, we are looking at natural wonders of ocean life as an aspect of Islam and science, and today we are looking at the whale. One thing I've appreciated is that the whale is not a fish, though we have been all along talking a bit as one of the fish types, but it is a mammal, meaning it delivers kids like the human beings do, and then also breastfeeds them. So perhaps if there are other things we can forget, let's at least get the fact that it is a mammal, not a fish. Then it has a huge weight, the length is so huge, and it also has so many species, like we have just hinted in the beginning parts of the discussion. Inshallah, we are going to be stopping for break, and then we will be continuing from there.
Salam TV. Etteka lirimu lyoyina okugoberera okufuuka omuwanguzi erisooka defeat the undefeatable. Gwe janguwa njagala okuba empewo ebikonde mpaka bwegwa wakati kuwa sikirabwe gwa girabe gudde gikube nnyo okuwangula kuzibu ne bw'okozesa MTN Momo wangu sasula obagula ne Momo okufuna omukisa okuwangula mobile money buli lunaku kozesa Momo app oba nyiga *165*3#.
Let's live it up and party and have cracking good fun. When it comes to edutainment, DSTV's #1.
Is everybody ready to go, go, go?
We've got the zaniest characters to transport you away. The party is cracking, so why not come play? You're gonna love it. We've got so many channels and a ton of new shows, like Disney and Nickelodeon, where anything goes. So live it up with DSTV. We bring the fun. You know we're #1.
Salaamu egabudde oli munna bizinesi oba olina ekitongole ekiwa obuweereza obw'enjawulo nga weetaaga kimanyike mu buli maka mu ggwanga lyonna. Salaamu TV ekuleetedde enteekateeka ya Salaamu egabudde. Guno gwe mukisa gw'ofunye by'otunda ne by'okola birangibwe ku TV yaffe eŋŋanzi wamu n'emikutu gyaffe emigatta abantu gyonna. Weegatte ku bukadde n'obukadde bw'abalabi baffe okwetooloola Uganda yonna, era bizinesi yo yeeyongera okumanyika nga bw'onyumirwa emiwendo egisaliddwako osobola okuganyulwa okwannamaddala mu kulangako. Tosobola omukisa ssemakisa guno obukuweereddwa. Okumanya ebisingawo tukubireko leero ku 0704-796-09 oba 0783-27-21-34. Salaamu egabudde ku Salaamu TV, olutimbero olw'emirembe. Eno ye Salam TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewer, we want to thank you once again for keeping it Salam TV. If you're just joining us, this is the Alhidaayah show that comes every Monday at 3 to 4 o'clock, and we specifically look at Islam and science. In the past episodes, we've been looking at some of the creatures that you find in the ocean waters, and today we are looking at the whale which is not a fish but a mammal. I should emphasize that because we've been knowing it as a fish type. So if you have missed out on some aspects, please do not take it as you've lost it all. You'll just visit the Salam YouTube page and then you'll be typing in Alhidaayah. You have the content that you want to maybe have a recap of. So Mr. Hamza, as we come back from the break, we were looking at some of the interesting things about the whales. They have so many species. They are huge. They have a huge weight. The length is also enormous. They have the capacity to hold their breath for even 90 minutes. Imagine a full
1.5 hours.
1.5 hours. Those who are watching football, you can imagine being the entire match. Honestly, it is just too much. Wow. So do we have other interesting things as we want to look at the importances that
these whales live in groups. They are very social animals.
Wow.
Possibly because they are mammals. They are very social animals. And they live in very large groups. The group of whales is called a pod, P-O-D. So that pod can grow up to 100 individuals.
Wow.
And they are all living together in that community, which is called a pod. That is another interesting thing about it.
Wow.
Then, how long has the whale been around? Interestingly, it has not been around for long. It's not like the other jellyfish
which we saw, yes.
Years. This one has only been around for 50 million.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a fairly recent. So possibly because it's a mammal. We mammals have been around for a very short time.
Okay.
The other reptiles and the fish have been around for a very long time. So this creature has been around for 50
million years. Yes,
that's what has been around. Then the other interesting thing, how these whales are actually able to stay underwater and not to breathe for a long time. For them, they don't have this normal hemoglobin that we have, which keeps the oxygen within our blood.
Within the blood, yes.
For them, they have a material called myoglobin. Now, that myoglobin is the one that allows their blood to store a lot of oxygen. Now remember that when a human being, for example, falls into the water,
yes,
that the problem is that your body needs oxygen nearly all the time, and once you stop breathing, the body starves of oxygen and begins to fight to get oxygen. And that is what makes you drown, meaning the body for it is not minding that you are in water, it is demanding
for the oxygen.
And now what this creature does is, because of the high levels of this myoglobin, once it breathes in,
yes,
it stores a lot of that oxygen within those myoglobin cells, and in the end, even if it goes under, it does not need to keep picking oxygen from the environment like human beings. For it, what it has stored is enough to go around for a complete 1.5 hours, because for as long as the body is supplied with the oxygen, the breathing is not necessary.
Yes.
And these are all adaptations that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has given this creature.
Wow.
The other interesting fact about this whale is the kind of eating that it does. Here they are saying this whale can eat up to 4 tons. Remember, the whale itself is a clean 200 tons. So it will eat 4 tons of krill per day. Now krill, you could think that something as large as the whale with all this weight would be eating sharks and other massive meals. But interestingly, Allah has made this creature to eat those small animals that live within the ocean. They are called krill. So they live together also in large packs. So the whale simply comes with its mouth wide open and it takes in a very large amount of this krill. So that is how it does its feeding. But imagine needing a clean 4 tons.
4 tons.
And Allah has made our feeding very simple. Just a few grams. And
actually, in some,
able to move.
I read somewhere that one whale can consume what man would consume for a lifetime in a day. Imagine.
Because now 4 tons.
The food you need for 70 years, the whale does it in
just
1 day. It's just Allah.
And it is not one whale in the ocean. We
not
have
one.
said just one pod has 100 individuals, meaning there are thousands of whales in the ocean. So how does Allah maintain their risk?
Indeed, that is
So for us who worry a lot about risk, we can commit sins. And we are talking of a creature which needs a clean 4 tons of food daily, and it's not one creature.
not
There
one
are
creature,
very many,
so
there are
many of
thousands within the ocean. The thing is even moving from one place to another. But Allah still guarantees those 4 tons. And remember, the thing stays around for clean 100 years. So it's not like it's going to need the 4 tons for a week.
And
No,
then dies.
it is 100 years of eating 4 tons a day. This is all a miracle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created.
Oh, but mashallah.
Now, in order for it to breathe and to take in a lot of oxygen at the same time, on the top of the whale,
Yes.
there is what is called the blowhole. That blowhole is the one that it uses to blow water out and also to breathe in. So that is what it uses. And usually when you are seeing videos of whales, you will see them putting out water into the air. That is the blowhole. So it can control that blowhole, close it or open it whenever it wants.
Wow. So maybe before you go to the importances, are they also known to be predators to human beings or to other creatures in the water, or they only feed on the other
I think
creatures?
maybe because they are even mammals. For them, they don't eat human beings. We've not had a lot of talk about a whale swallowing a human being. And remember that although these creatures are very large, once it is adapted to eat food in very small bits like those krill, usually it is not easy for it to deal with a large meal like a human being. For sharks to eat a human being, they simply bite off chunks. So you can see the teeth are designed to ensure that it will not need to swallow this entire human being. Simply bite and cut off pieces of flesh. But the whale with its large size, it's still not designed to just swallow a massive meal like a human being, and it does not have teeth that it can use to just bite off. So you'll find it is only able to eat those krill. And
then are they also like creatures that are facing extinction? And what are their defensive kind of adaptations?
Now, these whales are facing extinction mainly because of the well-known cause of extinction, the human beings.
Yes.
Of course, whales are needed for a lot of nutrition and other purposes, but we human beings tend to overfish. Because you see, the human being is actually the only creature that catches food without need to eat it. If you find a lion, the lions cannot catch a gazelle when they are satisfied. They may catch one for storage, but they can't catch like a whole mass in the name of storage. And all the creatures do that. You only hunt others in order to eat. Once you've eaten, the hunting is over. It will simply sleep, and even if a gazelle passes in front of them and they have been eating and they are satisfied, they will just leave it. It's not their business to kill gazelle. But human beings, with their greed, have been fishing these whales in very extreme ways to the level of causing near extinctions. Actually, it is only of recent that conservation efforts have been done, and some people have even come out and started to attack these vessels that do fishing. There was one time, the organization is called Greenpeace. For them, they primarily intervene directly in ocean-related matters. They have even ships. They go in and attack some of these ships that are doing. They call it whaling, catching whales. So it is a problem. We cause death to these creatures. But imagine a creature which is taking in up to 4 tons of other small creatures within the ocean. That one is a cleaning purpose that you need to be aware of. So whenever we just kill them for just basic money and other simple human needs, it becomes a very big problem.
Okay,
Speed of movement, it can cover up to 37 kilometers per hour within that water. Remember, water is very resistant to motion, so it's not like us who move within the air. The air does not resist, but the
37 kilometers per hour.
they are able to move up to 37 kilometers per hour within. So if we are moving 8,000 kilometers, how many hours are those? So we could round off to 40. So you are talking of 200 hours. 200 hours is how many days? Yeah, 100 days. It is like 3 months. It's busy moving. Then the other interesting thing about these whales is the way they communicate. They create a complex set of sounds. Just like we human beings, all these sounds we are making form a language, and the person will speak English, the other one speaks Luganda, and we are able to understand that this language is called Luganda, and these are the sets of words. So we human beings have a very advanced communication, but even these whales, they can communicate specifically about different things using complex sets of sounds. So for them, they don't make just one sound like the way you do see maybe an elephant. It just trumpets one sound. It could vary a little bit, but it can't create a complex series of sounds that another would be able to.
So the whale can communicate danger, can communicate...
and it does so by creating a series of sounds. And interestingly, they do relaying. You know this Gwangamuji that we used to have in the past with the Baganda. A person makes a drum sound here, Sekalala hears it on the other side, he repeats what he has heard. So in the end, you are able to transmit that drum sound from one village to possibly the entire Saza, just by each one repeating what they have heard. So a similar thing happens with the whales. Imagine one initiates some kind of song, a complex set of sounds. That set of sounds travels to as far as maybe 100 kilometers or whichever it may be, and it reaches another. The other one listens to that sound, records it very accurately, and repeats it in the exact form that the initiator has done. So some scientists were doing research and following these whales using sonar and other sound measurement equipment. They were able to track a song being repeated over a distance of 1,000 kilometers. Can you imagine? With one initiating the song, and it keeps repeating based on the ones that have heard it, and finally you find a whole distance of around 1,000 kilometers. All the whales in that area are repeating that same sound that has been initialized by a single whale somewhere. All these are really quite interesting facts about.
Okay, so do we have nutritional importance of the whales, commercial?
Now, these whales of ours have a number of good purposes.
Yes, please.
Number one, nutrient recycling. Now, remember that these animals feed at the bottom of the sea.
Yes.
They take in that 4 tons every day. But when you take in 4 tons, remember you are going to do some modification, and if you have taken 4 tons, you may end up producing the same 4 tons. But that 4 tons that it ejects out as waste also contains other minerals, iron, nitrogen, and etc. So it ends up again being a facilitator for other creatures within, either plants or even other creatures to enjoy. So in the end, the whale becomes like a transmitter of nutrients. Instead of us getting all our nutrients from the krill that the whale is eating, the whale eats the krill, and out of its excretion we're able to get all these other minerals. So that is something very important. Then the other issue they talk of is carbon sequestration. They say carbon sequestration is that when a whale dies, the body sinks to the bottom of the ocean. Once it goes down, it also takes a considerable amount of carbon from the atmosphere, because remember, this entire large thing of 200 tons is essentially a piece of carbon related content. So by dying and going into the bottom of the ocean, it is transferring carbon that would have been within the surface area and it has gone down. And remember, it is something very important to manage carbon. Carbon is what is causing much of the greenhouse effects that we are having. Then, as usual, we have an issue of food chain. The food chain is one animal eats another and eats another, and in the end we get a balance and everything moves very properly. So these whales maintain a balance by regulating the populations of course, of both the ones that they are feeding on, these krill, and the animals that feed on them. Interestingly, the whales also do have animals that feed on them, or creatures that feed on them. The sharks themselves don't necessarily hunt the whales, but in case they find some dead whale,
yes.
they can eat it. So it is one way. But the krill, which would, I think, even saturate the ocean, because imagine if we have all these whales and they are busy eating krill 4 tons daily. Just withdraw the whale and you'll have all this excess 4 tons of krill remaining in the ocean. It would possibly cause some other problems. Of course, we also do have issues of tourism, because the whale is a very special creature. You don't just find it anywhere. So people do travel and move to places just to be able to witness these whales. And remember, they are fairly friendly creatures. They are not very dangerous like the sharks. So people can even approach them, they even touch them, and etc.
Wow.
Then intelligence. These creatures are very intelligent. They, of course, we have already seen that they create even entire languages.
Okay.
They are really able to use their intellectual muscle in order to do many things. Then, of course, we've seen that when they produce live ones, and they also feed them on milk. Now that's the other interesting thing. You see this whale here, remember that it lives in the water.
Yes, please.
If you tried to take milk from water, what would really happen? Would you even have anything remaining? Because the water will simply cause the milk to dissipate. But Allah has created this whale in such a way. Now that one is called a beluga whale. They have a very interesting appearance, very big head there, and for them they are white, like what you are seeing there. So you see the way the whale is. Its mouth is not really very massive, so it is hard for it to swallow something very big like a human being. Possibly that's how the whale also uses what we call echolocation in order to move around, just like bats.
Yes.
You send a signal outside, the signal hits whatever it hits and comes back to you. Then you'll know that there's an animal.
There's an animal
1 kilometer away. There's another animal this side. Possibly it is as big as this. So it keeps sending those sound waves out there, and once they come back, it is able to know that I should be moving in this direction.
Wow. So as we attend, it was the last minutes of the show. What should the Muslim out there take as aspects of appreciation from Allah?
So for the Muslims, all the facts that we have been talking about, simply resurrect your mind to imagine that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created really very special creatures. Just imagine one creature with 200 tons as the weight.
And even feeding 2 tons per day? 4 tons a day.
Imagine something that requires rizq. Not mali, because mali is what we accumulate outside here, but what you eat is essentially rizq. Imagine a creature that needs 4 tons of rizq every day.
Every day. Allah.
But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ensures that the whales don't die of hunger. He creates moreover, it is not like it is eating a ton each time it eats.
It eats, yes.
Because it would be easier for it maybe to choose some 5 whales and some 5 sharks and the ton is done. No, it is 4 tons, but it is a laborious 4 tons. You are swallowing krill. Of course, the krill also live in large groups, so it tends to swallow a good number, but still 4 tons. And given its size, if it does not get to the 4 tons, it begins to starve. Just like the way you would eat like just 1 spoon of food, you would end up dying even if you have actually eaten. So this creature is a sign of really how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is able to guarantee rizq for even the biggest of his creatures. He ensures that he creates the other creatures that they have to eat, and out of them also flesh for others. You'll find these whales sometimes wash up on the shores, and the creatures like bears and others that live at the shore, they also get a chance to eat some really extremely large meals, and this is all a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for us as Muslims, whenever we see these creatures, we need to essentially appreciate that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created them and he has given them to us as a sign from him. If he can maintain a 4-ton eater, how about you who is just needing less than even a quarter kilo? You shouldn't reach the point of committing haram just because you are trying to establish a channel of rizq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot fail to feed a person if he can feed all of these extremely large creatures. Inshallah.
So it also goes back to the fact that we have to protect the environment, because if we don't protect it, we are affecting other creatures and humanity indirectly.
Exactly. So extreme fishing, I think there used to be extreme fishing even here in Uganda. The president was even forced to put up a whole military unit to deal with that very indisciplined way of fishing. And human beings can be stupidly greedy, because you are overfishing and killing the very fish that you will need tomorrow. So if you complete the entire generation today, tomorrow you will be the very one starving.
Yes.
So to conserve and be reasonable.
Actually, you eliminate the whale, and the balance that would have been in the water
is also gone. Now imagine if those krill begin to accumulate. There are not many. The shark will not eat the krill. It's not its kind of food. So this creature is able to control the population of these small things that would accumulate. And by the fact that Allah has created them as a food for these whales, it means they reproduce at a very high rate, and they can become a very big problem if they are not regulated by these very creatures that Allah has created. For as long as there is no human intervention, these creatures balance one another, and they eat and live and survive. But with the human beings that have not been properly oriented to understand that Allah has not given us this earth just to ruin it and to create chaos. No, it is as a sign to live on it and to appreciate the various miracles that he has shown us, like something as big as this whale. It lives, produces young ones, and like we said, it feeds the young one on milk, but within the ocean. So Allah has made it in such a way that the teats of that whale are able to push the milk. The milk does not flow out in a very simple way. It flows out in a way. It just squats. The milk does not just flow out at a small speed. So it is a very high speed, and it falls into the mouth of the young one, and the young one is able to live its life as a mammal near the mother for all these many years. So for every creature that Allah creates, he puts a channel or a mechanism for it to survive in a convenient way until it exhausts its 100 years of life. And I think they don't die too much like we human beings. They don't have very many things that cause problems to them, as it were.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Dear viewer, of course we can never exhaust more than the time allocated, but we hope that with the insights that have been given to us, we are in position to appreciate the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has multitudes and millions of creatures, each of them with special attributes, special facts, and Allah in his design, they are all capable of living the time and lifespan that he has allocated to them with the basic minimum form of survival. So lessons we get: one, we need to rely on Allah, pray to him. If he created you, it means he has a plan, and the life ahead for you has already been determined. So we just need to pray. Of course, work hard, as even these creatures you see, they make effort to see that they migrate from one place to another, meaning they put in effort to see that they continue surviving. So mankind, we have so many lessons to learn. Of course, remembering that our negative activities distort the natural setup and we end up again suffering. So we need to smartly use the environment, smartly interact with the environment such that we become those good servants and worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank you very much for tuning in to Salam TV. If you missed out on the content, kindly visit the Salam YouTube page and you'll be getting information as has been discussed. Otherwise, we want to wish you a very fruitful week ahead. Pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses all our endeavors. Till then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Eno ye Salam TV.